Everybody, we are back. It is Taped on Live's favorite is podcast, favorite is channel, favorite is everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at @TheMarkJohn NFL for me, at MHolder95 for Matt, and of course, pandasubs.com, discount code TDL for 25% off. All right. So we are doing starting our camp battles today.
Yep.
We started it off with Dylan Parham versus Jordan Merideth. So doing a sort of a little left guard battle here, and see what's happening with this, because Alex Kappa is going to be the right guard. I'm pretty sure that's going to be pretty much solidified. If you don't believe me, go watch my breakdown that I did with Alex Kappa. I kind of let you know that he's going to be the starting guard. So we got Dylan Parham versus Jordan Merideth. We're doing that today. And that's about it, guys. Any other? I mean, we talked about before the show. Not too much Raiders news. Darren Waller is going back to Miami.
Michael Mayer was the hottest tight end of the trade market for about a cool 12 hours.
Yeah. The Raiders were supposed to be like, no. But Darren Waller really likes Frank Smith, and like, yeah, that is true. And they just hit up Darren Waller.
That was wild to me, because I felt like not too long ago, I was watching a video of him talking about how happy he was to be retired. And he's like there was something about it was cold as hell, and he didn't want to run block or something like that. And they came out and ran the ball 12 times. So what the hell am I doing at this point? But I guess some nice weather in Miami and reuniting with Frank Smith will re-energize you.
Yeah, somebody told me on a podcast with Gruden that he said that he would only come back and play football for those two.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Makes sense.
I mean, those are two guys that basically made his career, right? Gruden's the one who picked him up, and they picked him up, and then Frank Smith was credited with helping develop him at tight end when he was over there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Besides that, and then the Geno Smith being too competitive got some people upset. I know a lot of people didn't like that, but that's just
that time of year.
It's that time of year, man.
Gotta be mad at something. Gotta be mad at something. No news.
We got to talk about something, man.
Geno Smith getting angry or not even getting angry, talking some smack at a 7-on-7 tournament is apparently what we're mad at this week.
Yeah. That's why they pay me the big bucks. It's gonna sound better after he throws a touchdown. So that's after he throws a touchdown, a game winning
in 7-on-7.
No. I'm talking about with the Raiders. If he throws a game winning touchdown, he say this is why they pay me the big bucks. You're gonna feel a lot better about it. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. All right, but today we're doing Dylan Parham versus Jordan Merideth. So Dylan Parham, who is very controversial with Raiders fans. Some Raiders fans like Dylan Parham. Some despise Dylan Parham. But he's in a battle with Jordan Merideth. And Meredith had a good year last year. He played pretty well on film. I had to go back to 2023 to watch Dylan Parham at left guard, because I didn't want to watch him at right guard and see how it looked. So, what were your thoughts on Jordan Merideth overall?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Meredith, obviously, like you said, last year played pretty well. Was probably one of the biggest surprises on the entire roster last season. I know he only played, I guess he played 10 games or whatnot, but finishes PFF's 8th highest graded guard, which came out of nowhere. But I definitely think he can be I definitely think he's capable or worthy of giving another shot to start this upcoming season. The only thing I worry about is, we've talked about this a little bit with Chip Kelly, is the last few years they've gotten to a lot more power and gap schemes. And I think he's definitely a much better zone blocker. I think he's got some play strength issues that kind of show up in both phases of the game. We'll see a few clips of him in pass pro and against the run, where it's just his lack of strength and lack of mass, I think, kind of becomes an issue. But I tell you what, he's damn good on those combo blocks and can work up to the second level pretty well in the running game. And then in the pass pro, he does have quick hands. So if he can get his hands on you at first, I think that can kind of help stop that issue. And he showed a lot of growth too, I thought, in picking up run stunts. That was one thing. I watched, I went back and watched some of his games in the beginning of the season, and then towards the end of the year. And I kind of, in the first few games, which were his better performances, he was kind of late to pick up on a few run stunts that were a little bit more complicated looks. But then like later in the year, like in the Chiefs game, which was one of his like lowest graded games on PFF, I was expecting to see him get beat on a few of those, and he actually did a lot better job picking it up. So it was good to see that growth from him too. But yeah, is it one of the more interesting guys to me on the roster that not a lot of people are talking about because it's offensive line, but it's a guard at that. But yeah,
Mhm.
the career arc of Jordan Meredith and how he surprised people last year is going to be studied. So hopefully he can follow it up because I definitely think he's a starting caliber player, based on the way he played last year.
Yeah, that's super interesting because I thought he had put up some good film last year too. I thought that just overall, I thought he would be the starting left guard, and then Parham was going to be the starting right guard.
Yeah,
That was just my assumption, kind of going into the year. But they brought in Alex Kappa, and now they got those two battling it out at camp, and then even there were some points where Thayer Mumford was backing up Alex Kappa a little bit.
yeah, weird.
Um, but also with Meredith too. I mean, does Mumford step into that role? Like, does it kind of take his spot a little bit too? This could be super interesting. So we'll see how that goes overall. But yeah, I thought he played well enough, and even when he played a little bit in 2023, that he played well enough where he could show that he could be a good, pretty solid guard. I'm not gonna say he'd be great or anything like that. I think he could be a solid player. So he showed enough to me, but obviously, you're undrafted. I mean, nobody really liked you as a
Yeah,
scout. Spawn Spytek comes in. He's like, I wasn't a huge, biggest fan of his. All those things pop up, and you kind of just fall back a little bit. So everybody's gonna go with the drafted guys usually
yeah.
when a new guy comes in. So that's kind of how it just goes for the undrafted players. Got to keep proving yourself every single time until you get that starting spot. So that's what he's got to deal with.
Yeah, I think he's on like a vet minimum contract again. I think he was restricted free agent, which absolutely sucks. Basically means like you're a free agent, but you can only sign with one team, so you kind of don't have any leverage. And I think he's making like maybe like 1.5 million, something like that this year. But
Mm-hmm.
that'll change if he has another good year as a starter and can win this battle. I do think Alex Kappa is going to be a little bit more on the hot seat than they're leading on right now, but obviously that's the big stage. Or obviously the primary focus right now going into training camp is Parham and Meredith. But
Yeah. Because I mean, if Kappa has a bad camp, they put the pads on, he starts getting blown
yeah,
up all the time. Are they going to be smart enough not to put him out there? They might be. So we'll see how that goes. And then Thayer Mumford might be the guard, man. You never know. You never know.
that'd be something.
I would say before I get to Parham, man, Thayer Mumford had some serious run blocks 2023, man. I was like, good lord.
He just was rough and pass pro, but yeah, when I was watching the Bengals game on him, I couldn't help but notice Andres Pete. I forget what happened with Colton Miller that game. I think he was banged up, but Andres Pete was playing and he was god awful, and they brought in Munford later on, and Munford got baptized by Trey Hendrickson a couple times, but in the run game, like you could instantly notice the difference with just his get off and like his physicality in that aspect. So maybe that shines through a little bit more at guard, and you're right, maybe he ends up surprising us all and ends up winning one of these jobs, and we're focused on the other three guys.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I did Dylan Parham. So, like I said, I went back to 2023, watched him at left guard. I think Parham has the same issues that we always talk about, right? Like play strength, playing against more elite players. One thing that I was kind of surprised about that I thought was, watching him run block from left guard, he was better as a run blocker from left guard than he was at right guard. But then he's like a better pass protector at right guard than he is at left guard. So it's really interesting to me when I was watching him because, like, from the left guard position, it felt like that he just I don't know, maybe it's because he's next to Colton Miller or something like that would help, that was helping him out. But he was able to just move a lot more guys, like, and get a lot more push. But there's just certain times, especially when it comes to him getting to the second level, where, like, linebackers are just getting past him and things like that, just because I don't know, he just doesn't have like that mean streak to him. Maybe, I guess, like, he's just maybe not mean enough. I think he's just need to get him more angry. I don't know what we need to do to that to get him more angry, but it kind of feels like that he's missing a little bit of that mean streak sometimes as a blocker. Technique wise and things like that, I mean, he's pretty set, but it's just always gonna be a little bit of a play streak as you. It's like, Chris Jones and those guys. I mean, the Chiefs game from 2023, he was getting just baptized. I think his grade on PFF was like 11 in that game.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, yeah. But yeah, against some other teams during the season, he looked pretty decent. But like, it's just like that constant struggle with him, like in pass protection, sometimes just pops up, and there's really nothing you can do about it. But I thought he was a better run blocker from the left side.
It's funny. I feel like you can say a lot of similar things about both these guys. Like both of them aren't great finishers and probably have some play strength issues, maybe a little undersized too, which obviously plays a factor into that. So it is a competition between two pretty similar players, which is interesting. But I don't know. The thing that always like irks me about moving Parham back to left guard is like if you go back to like even his college days. I mean, I guess like you saw maybe a little bit differently, but like I always thought he was just so much better at right guard. Like in like even going back to when he was at Memphis, like he played way better at right guard than he did at left. And then they tried it with him at left at the beginning of his career, and it didn't work out. As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, he played right guard like his first two starts, played well. Then James got hurt. Then he played center, and then they moved him to left for some reason. And then he like kind of struggled throughout the rest of the year, which just kind of shines some light on the Josh McDaniels coaching staff and all that, the decision making. But yeah, and then on top of that, last year, like I thought he started the year pretty strong, and then he just kind of fizzled out down the stretch. And I think it's a lot of what you're talking about, a lot of the issues in pass pro, and then going up against better competition. Like Chris Jones, I think lights up every time he sees Dylan Parham lined up across.
Yeah, for sure. And as I said, Parham started off the year good last year, right guard. It's just he got. I think he was dealing with injuries.
He got banged up.
Banged up. So yeah. All right, dude. Let's get into some Jordan Meredith here, man. Let's check it out.
All right, I'm gonna start off with the few combo blocks in the running game. And one thing you're going to see that's pretty consistent when I was talking about is like he's pretty good at getting up to the second level here. Like you say on this first one, I do like that he does check here, but maybe you can give Glaze a little bit more help before releasing up to the second level. This is tough though with the looks like defensive lineman kind of recognizing it and playing right into the tackle versus going straight up the field. But again, maybe you can hang in a little bit, half a second longer because he gets up to the second level with plenty of time. And on top of it, the second level block is perfect. I mean, he does a great job blocking the new teammate Jermaine Pratt and creating that little cutback lane for Madison. I mean, even so, I mean, Glaze does a good enough job to keep Rankins at bay and prevent him from making that tackle. Get a little gain on the ground.
Yeah.
Next one going to be pretty much the same, although a much better block, I will say, on the front side. Like you'll see this time, like the big difference with 92 here kind of playing into him. Like he does a much better job of using his inside arm and getting that shoulder turn to make that block easier for Glaze to take over. And it's a seamless transition. And then on top of it, now we're climbing up to Logan Wilson, beating him to the spot, and then just kind of pushing him out of the way, taking him where he wants to go. Again, nice little cutback lane for Zamir White to stumble through and still get 5.
Yeah.
Next one's going to be the best one of the bunch. Going to actually put the nose tackle on the ground here. Nice little block. Like you'll see it on this one. See it on this angle. Like watch on here. Field goal post gets in our way a little bit. But like, I mean, he's got the nose on the ground before JPJ can even take over that block. And on top of it, gets up to the second level, and we generate some movement. Maybe if we get a little bit of a cleaner release here from Mayer to get up to 55 here, Abdullah might have a little lane to run through, but don't get that clean block.
Yeah,
kind of all goes from that. But hell of a block by Meredith on both ends of the equation there. This time at right guard, played both spots in this game against the Bengals and played pretty damn well at both of them. Again, this is part of the reason why I kind of want Meredith to win the job. One, because he's not under contract longer, but I think he'll be easier to re-sign. And two, him and JPJ, they had a pretty damn good connection last year. Like you can see it on this one. Like they did a great job rooting out this 2 technique defensive tackle and creating that lane. Just not Colton Miller's best game.
That was not his best game. I remember that game.
Yeah. I forgot he started that game and then got banged up. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah. This one going to be an RPO. Again, him and JPJ just working together. Obviously, they throw the ball, so it kind of all goes for naught. Like you can see the movement they generate. I mean, end up walking this dude like 5 yards down the field on that combo block. How'd they run that ball?
Yeah.
Might have actually been a better read. I guess Glace did do a great job on the edge there, but either way, from Meredith and JPJ stated, that was a great block. One more time here, this time working with Dare Munford. This is probably one of the better finishes we'll see from Meredith.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the same thing, like getting physical.
Yeah.
Doing a great job turning this dude's shoulders and stays attached here. And we end up picking off the linebacker, picking off Pratt here as we push the tackle up to the second level.
I don't know where Madison was going, but that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions like that. One more here. This is a nasty one with him and Miller. I'm going to end up putting, I don't know who that is for the Broncos, but putting him in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Nice finish on that one. So, as I say, he's not a great finisher. Here's a couple of nice finishes from him.
Yeah. you can say he's getting a little bit of help there.
Yeah.
You're right.
For sure. He can't finish the double teams. I'll say that. A little do-over on here.
Yeah. Like the
YY counter. All right. Let's see which one we got here. This is actually more just hell of a reach block. Like you'll see on this one, this is a shade nose on a one technique.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets a little help from JPJ with that inside arm. But for the most part, that's all Meredith. He does a great job flipping his hips. Wide lane. This is a nice block by JPJ too to get Bolton out of the picture. Dude, what the difference? The difference in Sincere McCormick and the other running backs.
It's crazy, right? I just swear to God.
Like this is a great lane that goes for like 5 yards with anyone else. With McCormick, he makes something happen out of it.
Yeah, I felt so bad for him. He got hurt, man. I feel so bad for him.
Hopefully he can step up this year too.
Yeah.
Moving on to him in pass pro, moving on to Meredith in pass pro. This is a good example of what I was talking about with those quick hands. Like you can see, like he kind of paused that poorly. He's quick to get him up, and like you'll see, he'll make the first significant contact here, and that's going to help stop that pass rush move and then kill this guy's momentum a little bit too. That's one thing that's going to be real key for him. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head, but he has pretty short arms. I think that's probably part of the reason why he's at Western Kentucky and went undrafted, like 31 inch something. Arms. Yeah. So it's going to be real important for him to get his hands up. Like, again, this one, it does a great job. Like you can see, like he fires. Watch. Best view is his outside arm here. Like you can see that. Like boom, quick to get it up. Quick to get him up. Also gets him inside. Like you can see these where the pass rusher's hands are.
Mm-hmm.
And stops that move before it happened. Gives Ritter a nice pocket to check it down.
He's got some great feet too. His feet are pretty good.
Yeah. He can move for sure. For sure. Again, this one, same kind of thing. A little more aggression on this one, which I like to see from him. And on top of it, too, like quick get off. Like you'll see he's quick out of his stance. Boom, get those hands up. When he's violent with them, he can be effective. Again, just boom, quick hands. If he was a boxer, he's going to be working the jab all game. No haymakers.
For sure.
This rep more than anything, not the cleanest one technique-wise. Like you can see he kind of misses with his hands a little bit here. This is a nice little move by Wilson to do the little cross chop. Mm-hmm. What I love about it is he does a great job of staying square as long as he can, stay square. And you can see him start to open up a little bit with Wilson working wide. And then once he recognizes Wilson's committed to the outside, like that's when he opens up. And on top of it, too, gets his outside or inside hand involved. And then just kind of rides him by.
Yeah.
Rides him right past the quarterback. Great. Although we got a few issues going on here.
Yeah, they pick up the blitz very well, but
no, we didn't pick up the blitz. And Munford, like I said, not his best game in pass pro. Getting beat by Osai. Poor Desmond Ritter, but Meredith, good rep. Now, this is the best example of it because he ends up putting Benito on the ground here. But one thing I like about Meredith is he's not the most violent or most physical finisher when he does this. But he's constantly looking for work when he's uncovered.
Yeah.
And again, best example. But like if you go back and watch his tape, watch the All-22, like as soon as he recognizes no one's coming his way, and like this one especially too with 97 working towards the center, and we have the linebacker that's posing a blitz threat. I like just how he like reads it and then recognizes, okay, now I can come off and boom, let me go help out Miller. Now moving on to where he might be a little deficient and might have some trouble winning the battle if Parham can be a little bit more stout than he can. Like you'll see the difference on this one. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we can't get shed this easily.
No, you cannot.
And like he has like his hands are good, pad level's good. You'll see like his hands are tight. His hands are inside, helmet's underneath the defenders, but he's just not that strong and like violent.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's uncorked his hips right now. We haven't even moved the defensive lineman at this stage.
Yeah.
And it just gets tossed.
No movement at all right there.
Yeah, it's tough. And then this one, I'll say as a puller, he's not bad as a puller, but he's not like, this is where I get concerned with him and more of the gap and power schemes.
Mm-hmm.
Is he's not like, he actually does get a little bit of movement here, but like he can't sustain it against Chanel here. And the Chanel ends up escaping and making the block. A lot of times he'll get like a stalemate and might get some push, but for the most part, he wasn't like a real ass kicker as a puller, if you will. He's not like moving guys out of the way where I thought that was anything noteworthy. Like this one's kind of similar to the clip we saw two plays ago. Like again, initially he does fine. Like he's got good pad level. He fires off the ball a little bit on this one. It looks like he's about to win the rep. Then I think the strength becomes an issue, and especially I think Pinnell is I think it's Pinnell 69.
Yeah,
is a pretty strong run defender. Like once he can kind of absorb the contact and get reset here and get releveraged, now Meredith's screwed.
Yeah,
and that's where when you're not like a real people mover in the running game, again another gap concept here. That becomes like a bigger issue because if you can't move them, then you're eventually going to get shed, and that guy's going to make the play. Pass pro, kind of the same thing. Like this time going against Logan Wilson. I will say the sack here is not completely on his fault. Like we get some edge pressure that forces Ritter to step up in the pocket, but at no point does he have control of this block. And I mean, we can't get the pocket collapse against the linebacker.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, you know what the linebacker push you back like that.
Yeah, like at no point was he like dropping the anchor and then Wilson just kind of like escaped on the inside late. It was just he never even had his feet set and lost inside a little bit. I think this one's against Amenahu. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about where he's got to land that punch. Like Amenahu doesn't quite escape to get the sack, but again, he misses with his hands here a little bit. Like he shoots him quick, but he gets on top of the shoulder instead of like on the chest. Like you can see the difference in those other clips where he's the defensive lineman here has got his hands inside, so he wins that battle. And same kind of thing. We're getting pushed in the pocket, and Parham, like I was talking about before, old buddy Chris Jones doesn't help, but at the same time, part of the reason why Aiden has to escape there is because of the interior pressure on the other side too. I mean, same thing here. Like this one, this is what I'm talking about too. Especially this one's a great example of him not landing with the hands and being a little late. And just no chance after that. Especially when I don't know how big this dude is, but he's a short guy, got some natural leverage to him. Yeah. Lucky that was quick game. But yeah.
For sure. All right.
Again, overall, I liked what I see from Meredith. It's just like I said, I think part of the reason why he's probably not the starter, maybe why they're leaning towards more Kappa having the starting gig and forcing Meredith and Parham to kind of battle it out is because I don't think they fully trust either one of those guys, Meredith and Parham, in the gap scheme that Chip Kelly likes to run. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see I posted a clip. I think you shared it too. Yeah. Chip Kelly at UCLA pulling damn near everybody on the offensive line. He had 4 pullers on one play.
Yeah.
So if that's going to be a big part of his scheme in the NFL, that might be the issue in the underlying reasoning with where Meredith is at on the depth chart heading into training camp.
Yeah, because I mean, if they want to do what Ashton Genty does best, they're going to run gap. You know?
Yeah.
So that's why it's a big factor. And I think even with going to do some Dylan Parham and of course Josh McDaniels was all gap scheme, so you're going to see a lot of that. But yeah, I think that's going to be the kind of the big difference between them, right? Is who can pull better, who could do some of these other things like that and have more push in the gap scheme game, right? Because Meredith, he might be a little bit more, has the athleticism, kind of the same athleticism Parham has, but I think Parham is a little bit stronger than he is, but
Probably.
not too much, but it's just a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. But it's just the limitations with Meredith. Like, he walks in the room and John Ty Spytek probably saw those short arms and he was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You may be right. He puts something on the table, be like, hey, can you grab this for me? See how far he can reach it. You got to lean over.
That's exactly what Spytek did. He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know about those arms.
I'm gonna put your contract on the table right here. If you can reach it, you can get it.
You can get it, right? Exactly. But yeah, man, because it's a big factor with it. And it's about with these undrafted guys, man. They have limitations that like a new GM comes in, and a lot of it is like coaching staff and the favorability with coaching staffs and stuff like that for undrafted guys to get that playing time. So yeah, it's still gonna be a little bit of uphill battle, even though he played pretty decent last year. But it's going to be a little tough for him because, like I said, I think Thayer Mumford's coming too because I'm pretty sure Chip Kelly sees Thayer Mumford pull and he's like, oh my god.
I was about to get to is like that is Munford's strong suit is literally the gap runs. So maybe that's what they're thinking too. Again, like I said, we'll probably pay attention to these two dudes and Munford will end up being the week 1 starter.
Right. Which to me in the run game, like it makes sense. But like, I wonder how he's going to pass protect as a guard, but in the run game, it makes complete sense to me. All right, let's get to Parham. All right, so let's get to some Dylan Parham. Like I say, he's right here. And this one's about just moving people in the run game. He gets a little help on this one. But you kind of can see just, with these down blocks and the pulling right here, like all the movement they get as an offensive line here. So, like I said, this is with, it's a little bit of help with Colton Miller on this one, but you just see he's able to help move 97, right? Boom, get that moving on 97. And it's just a whole lot of pure power here. And it's just the way that they're able to move and get some push there. Of course, like Colton Miller is the big pusher here, but you can see how he's able to help James. I think James is starting to lose here. Like James is kind of like losing somebody here a little bit. It's like these guys about to come inside and Parham doesn't come and clean that up. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been the best run in the world there, but I still tackled by Jermaine Edmonds there, but all right, next one here, Parham here. All right, so now we're getting a little bit of duo here on this one. Now, like I said, you can kind of see what he has. What I like about him is just technique-wise, he's always really good technique-wise. You see low pad level right there. Even though 97 does a good job of getting lower than both of those guys, but you can see the push that he ends up having there with Andre James. Like James is even kind of losing his leverage a little bit there. You can see it. James is not really helping on this double team as much as he's like, okay, this is double team, but like James is getting like thrown to the side. And you see that. And Parham is really the one generating this, right? Which allows Jacobs, who I believe probably could have cut to his left a little bit, but even with that push, you kind of see the finish that Parham's getting here. So you see that the movement, the drive right there, using his legs, he's getting a lot of push there on that one. What do you say?
Andre James versus Andrew Billings is a major mismatch.
just no help. He didn't help Parham at all. That was Parham blocking by himself. All right, so here's another one, right? This one's a little bit split zone here, right? But I really like this block. This is against Chris Jones here. So I really like this block. He gets a little bit of a push from Mumford, right? Mumford is a great helper with a push because he just gets it up there. Yeah. But you can see where Chris Jones is definitely a pass rusher because he definitely has high pad level in the run game. Yeah. I noticed that. But you see where Parham's able to get under him. Parham has great hands, like I said, able to get his hands inside right there. It gets a little bit of a push there. But once he gets his hands inside, he's able to just drive him right there. Right. Yeah. And you kind of see a little bit of the play streak issue because he's just not stronger than Chris Jones. But you can still see just technique wise why he's winning this rep. Right. And you could say maybe Serial White, if he's more patient here, he could, hit that. But,
it's a mirror.
Yeah. Yeah. Boom. Get a little push there. Chris Jones is not a fan of playing the run. He wants to get out of the passer. He wants to pass. This is Because here he is against Chris Jones again. So like, again, when he's playing the run, man, he didn't have a lot of problems with Chris Jones, right? Because Chris Jones is he's all about, I'm getting after the passer, so he's gonna try to do a swim move here, try to swim past him, right? But Parham does a good job of, like I said, staying low, getting those hands inside, get to see the placement right there on the hands, and he just pushes them, boom, right out of there.
I've noticed that a few times. He's pretty good at getting that outside hand underneath the armpit to use his leverage and use the defense tackle's momentum against him.
Yeah, so he does a better job of recognizing that he doesn't have the play strength that you would like, and I think he finds different ways to get leverage here, like and get this type of push here, because you see Chris Jones is getting past you, but he still doesn't really move anywhere, and he just ends up just pushing it through his back. Right?
It's a great rep.
It's a great rep right there. Boom. Get moving there. All right, here he is against Grover Stewart here. This one is some counter here, but you can see on this one a little bit, like, as we're talking about, like, technique wise, right? But Stewart has those long arms, right? He allows Stewart kind of get inside of him, but he still has a better pad level, and the get off still isn't bad there. And he's able, he gets a little help from Miller there, but you can see how Grover Stewart has a little bit of control there, but Parham still, Parham still has a good base here, so he's able to control him a little bit and not allow him to kind of just overpower him, right? Like he could have, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So there's a little bit of push there, but like you could just see that, like, he understands that he doesn't have the play strength, right? He's like, I just got to hold on for dear life against Grover Stewart. Sometimes I just got to hold on for my life, because Grover Stewart gets low again, but he still doesn't lose this rep, in my opinion. But it's not the greatest rep in the world. All right, here's another one. This one's against Grover, somebody else here. So this is what I talk about, Mumford, just the ultimate help down block here. Poof! Moves him, but but still, he even almost knocks over Parham a little bit too.
Damn.
So I mean, if Mumford gets the job, just remember this rep, guys. This is part of it, because he moves.
This is why.
But what I like from Dylan Parham, though, I still like that he's still able to have control here. And you can talk about how this guy, with the movement, he still has his hands in the right spot. And, that guy's not able to get any movement. It ends up creating a big hole there. And a lot of it comes from the help from Thayer Mumford, of course. But it's just, the technique and the get off just is natural for Parham. So he's able to get some of that movement there. But yeah, that was mostly Thayer Mumford. Damn, I forgot run block, man. No joke.
Yeah.
All right. So this is another perfect example of where it's like he wins the rep, but it's just not sexy looking, right? Mm-hmm. It's not like it's kind of just, you see here, right? You can kind of talk about maybe the hand punch here, but he does a good job, even with that kind of having that little bear hug. He still gets his hands inside here, and like I said, he always has a good base when he's moving, guys. So he's winning this rep, but he's not getting a lot of push, right?
Yeah.
Right. And it's just not, it was more push. Like when you have your hands inside and you have the lower pad level and you're going against, and you're a guard, like I'm expecting him to push him all the way into Bolton, which creates a bigger hole here. But Bolton's still free here, right? You're expecting him, with this leverage that he has, is to push him into Bolton, right? Which kind of creates an even bigger hole, and then Bolton can't just kind of just come around here and just play it like this, like that. You know what I mean? Because Bolton doesn't get touched here because Parham can't get that push, right? So, I mean, that's a lot of it with the play strength overall, in my opinion. But it still ends up being a better rep than, him just getting destroyed. But it's just, he just doesn't have that play strength, really.
Yeah.
With it. Now, here's another one here. So now this is a little bit more of an outside zone rep, I believe. A little split outside zone here, right? And I really like this rep too. You can really see him. And that's why sometimes I believe he just moves better laterally. We talk about, like, you talk about that with Meredith, so I think Parham does that as well sometimes, because you can see right here on this reach block, he he's able to kind of get in front of this guy right here. He's got the hands in the right spot. And what you see is he's able to get this movement. So even like when this lineman resets here a little bit, it still creates that cutback lane for Zamir White here. Like it's still there. Zamir White's able to get to that cutback lane and get 6 yards there. So it ends up being a great rep. And like I said, it's just not, it just doesn't look the greatest, but he's doing his job. Like fundamentally, everything's right that he's supposed to do with the reach block, and ends up getting the right amount of yards here. But it's just not sexy, I guess. Like you when you have this kind of leverage, you know what I mean? Like, and you're winning like this, like I just want this guy on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you could kind of see him try to like drive him a little bit, but it's a good rep. It's just not, it's just not a fancy rep, I guess is the words I'm looking for here. And you kind of see it, some of the issues he ends up having just with play strength on this one too here. So see here, like, 99 gets lower than him, right? He gets low, gets his hands inside. Parham's hands are outside. He's able to just lift Parham up and go make that tackle.
Yeah, that's
right, because Parham does a good job. He gets off it right here. He has a good hand place right there, but like boom, right there, he still ends up losing the rep just because of play strength. He gets lifted up. That's a tackle. And then here he is against Grover Stewart again here. So this one, this is what I'm talking about, like him not just having that finish, okay? Because he gets a little help from Andre James, right? And they do a good job here, right? But we get to the point of when James goes up to the second level here, Parham can't hold it by himself because he just doesn't have that strength. And then Grover Stewart just keeps driving those legs, right? Trying to move here. And he just ends up now, at this point in time, he has a direct line to Zamir White because Parham can't hold it. And he just ends up making that tackle. Because you think about it, like if he ends up holding this a little bit better here, right? And holding this rep and not just because like, if you look at it, like he has lower pad level than Stewart, like none of that mattered though because Stewart's just stronger than him, so he just shoved him to the side, right? And he's able to hold that block. Maybe Zamir White scores.
It is just crazy how similar these two dudes are. Like that's damn near similar. That's so similar to the rep I showed earlier.
Yeah, I know, man. That is crazy. All right, so and then sometimes it's just like when he's at the second level though, which I think Meredith's a little bit better than he is just when he comes to these blocks, right, driving these tight like these linebackers, like this rep right here, like he just doesn't get anything moving, and you maybe you could say, he kind of gets pushed away with what's happening with Colton Miller here because Colton Miller kind of loses to EJ Speed here a little bit too as well, and maybe that has something to do with it because you kind of just running into each other, but I still want some kind of it just felt like he's kind of pussyfooting with him a little bit. So just getting out there and just attacking him, right? And waiting for him to come to him. And then, the other guy, Miller's kind of doing the same thing. And, 52 ends up going to make that tackle there.
Yeah.
And if he makes
the
a good
nail,
block,
not the hammer.
Exactly. And if he has a better block here, then maybe some, this play might be different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, how Zamir White's burst is just he gained too much weight. Obviously, while I was watching the film, I'm like, bro, you
got too big.
Yeah, you lifted too much weight. All right, so believe this is the pass pro rep here. Yeah, so we get a pass pro here, and with Parham and pass pro, like I said, I mean, technique wise, I mean, he is legit. I mean, you can even see here, just a good job of resetting here. This guy's trying to get a little swim move here, but he just ends up winning that fight because you could tell just how, he has like what I would say, he has good feet and he has a good base all the time. So he's able to reset his base, and you can't even really tell that he almost got knocked over here, right? Guys almost knocked him over, but he's able to reset here against Billings.
Yeah.
And hold them off. And then, Billings is a strong dude. If you're a Raiders fan in 2022, that's a strong ass dude. And, he got even got a club to the head there, but he's able to hold it and reset there and allow Brian Hoyer to throw it to nobody.
When you started this, I'm like, who the fuck is that at quarterback? I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Brian Hoyer started a game.
Yeah, Brian Hoyer. Brian Hoyer. The trial and tribulations we have been dealing with the quarterback position the last few years, man. These reviews have given me a lot of PTSD. And talk about on this one. What I really like about this one, I mean, we're getting a little pulling action here, right? With off the play action, and this is the play that kept. I said this is the play that kept. That allowed them to draft Brock Bowers because Michael Maris is wide open for a touchdown and Hoyer doesn't throw it. But what I like on this one here is even when maybe he could have his hands a little bit of a better punch here. He still finds a way to get him back inside, right, and ends up gaining control here. But this is
Sorry, I'm just distracted by Brian Hoyer not throwing the seam route.
That's like this is
getting the look that you were hoping for with the linebacker dropping, like coming downhill on first play action.
Like Tom Brady and put Rob Gronkowski in the Hall of Fame on this one, on this whole same exact concept. It's crazy, man. I don't know. Oh man. All right. So here's a good rep against Grover Stewart here. And this is what I'm talking about, like just the technique that he has, and if he can win this fight, and you can see that Stewart's not able ever to really gain leverage here. He's never really able to gain leverage, and Parham's just able to get that anchor, keep his base here. Doesn't really get pushed back too far, and Stewart really is not going anywhere, right? And this is what I'm talking about. Stewart's way stronger than he is. We already saw that, right? And he's still able to control him. And that's all technique. That's all technique, all leverage, all having the lower pad level, having the hand placement, having the good feet. That's all technique right there. And that's why, if it comes to him and Meredith, it might come down to that. Right?
Yeah.
Just the technique part of it. And here's a good rep against Chris Jones. Like he has a good rep against Chris Jones here. We're going to give him that. We're going to give him that. One good rep here. And it's kind of the same thing, right? It's just the technique and the hand fight. You can see here, he allows Chris Jones to kind of show his move because Chris Jones has been killing him with the swim move all game. Okay. So you allowed him to kind of show his move, and he kind of gets inside there. And then what I like about this one too, is you kind of see the hands kind of are a little too high, but watch him reset, get that other hand underneath, right? It allows him to gain leverage and allows O'Connell to, get this ball off, right? But you can see it one more time, like, right, he's get that push, but he ends up resetting his hands, get his hands back underneath there, right? And that's how he wins this rep against a elite player like Chris Jones, who's been giving him nightmares since he's joined the NFL. And here's another one against DeForest Buckner, who's not a bum either. And kind of the same thing, right? Like, right? Yeah. When these guys do these swim moves and he gets them to commit, he does a good job of understanding, okay, now his chest is free. Now I attack his chest and I can get him moving right past the quarterback here. And this is a huge 4th and 10 in this game. So this is a huge block, in my opinion. Allowed O'Connell to get this ball off. You can also throw there Trey Tucker, but I mean, this is a great rep against DeForest Buckner. So I mean, you do see better reps of like him against better competition than you probably see with Jordan Merideth. But I am speaking too soon because we're gonna get to some of these next reps here. And what I like about this one too is just being able to help Andre James here, kind of keeping that making sure that he has his eye holding him off with the one arm there. And then once he understanding keys 99, maybe the hands are a little too outside there, but his pad level is too high to even get any push. And he's not Chris Jones 99. So he's not going to get a rep there. But it still does the job here, in my opinion. And just ignore the throws, guys. All right. So here he is against Chris Jones. So let's talk about a little bit the issues he has in pass pro here. So as you can see on this one, like this is in the beginning of the game, right? So he tries to get his hands on Chris Jones. Chris Jones just basically moves that arm, right? You can tell right here he has full control right now. and just pushes past him. That's not Chris Jones, my bad. That's 98. That's not Chris Jones.
Oh, that Wharton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wharton, and he just ends up, and you see right here, like this is as an offensive lineman, you do not want to be here. This is where you're at a bad spot.
Yeah.
You're getting pushed, right?
Yeah.
It's not a good look. And you know, one thing about Parham, he like tries to time his punches a lot. And you can see like sometimes that could backfire, like right here. When you don't have the play strength, you can't reset the guys in your chest like that.
Yeah.
That's bad. So here he is against Chris Jones here. And this one, like he tries to, he has a good get off here on this one, right? Trying to make sure he can get up on Chris Jones fast. But what happens is he's late with his hands still. Like he doesn't come up punching, in my opinion, comes up like waiting for him. And he gets late with his hands, and then he catches him leaning, and then Chris Jones just goes right by him. Right to the quarterback, like quick. Like this is a quick rep. I mean, he's mid-play action, I believe. And he's you know what I mean?
Yeah. O'Connell's not even at the top of his drop.
Mid-play action, right? I mean, this is over. It kind of just shows how Chris Jones does not play the run, because he didn't care it was play action. He's like, I don't care if it's play action or not.
Play action ends up screwing over the offensive lineman against Chris Jones.
Yeah, you know what I mean? There you go. All right. And then here he is against here he is pulling this time. And this is what we're talking about. Like now he's going against Karlaftis, right? And Karlaftis is coming full speed, right? He understands it. And he just goes right around him here, right?
Yeah.
And since like Parham's trying to time it, right? It just doesn't work because he knows that the puller's coming, and he just goes right around him.
Also looks like he kind of false stepped on that one. Like you see how his first step, he just kind of turns, doesn't gain any ground. If anything, loses ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he false stepped. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. That's good point on that.
Got piece of the spot.
Yeah. Especially how fast Karlaftis is coming. You can see how Karlaftis has that mean power
demeanor.
Rush move, right? Yeah, demeanor and power rush move too, right? See why he's a power rusher, that get off he has. And then this rep right here. So I kind of want to point this out because I mean this one just shows like natural play strength in my opinion, because right, Parham gets beat inside, right? But he just can't help Parham. He can't help Mumford. I mean, he can't help Mumford at all in this one, right? Even though he comes to help, but he just can't really. One, he's kind of late, in my opinion. A little late maybe to help, but I mean that's on Mumford anyways. I mean, he shouldn't have to help Mumford like this. But even then, you can kind of see that he just can't hold this guy, and the guy still gets through to him, and gets close to O'Connell right here. So it's just crazy watching film. O'Connell's really the best quarterback they had for the past. All right. The only normal quarterback.
All comes back to the quarterback situation. I like it.
All right. But yeah, I mean, that's still a Parham. Like, as I say, him and Jordan Meredith are so similar. But I just think Parham might have a little bit of more veteran savvy and like picking up stunts and things like that he might end up edging him out. But I think the main case of me and you have come to this. I mean, Thayer Mumford might sneak.
He might. That's that. I love that. That's the conclusion of our breakdown between Jordan Merideth and Dylan Parham. That Thayer Mumford might win the starting job. Yeah,
it is. Yeah. It's. I mean, as a run blocker, and I know they want to run the ball as a puller, run blocker. I mean, Mumford has more play strength than both of these guys, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he can deal with some of these things. I mean, I don't know about tech. He just hasn't played guard in the NFL, so it's just so hard to say that he can do it because you haven't seen it. But whatever they're thinking right now when it comes to those two guys and their play strength, and do they really fit what they want to do in the run game? That's going to be a little bit of the conversation that they're going to be having, I believe. But I do think Dylan Parham, just technique wise, he's so sound that he's able to make up for some of his play strength issues, just him being really light and stuff like that. I think he can make up with it with the technique, and you saw with some of those reps against like Chris Jones, DeForest Buckner, and even Grover Stewart, right? But at the end of the day, there's just gonna be some times where it's gonna be like with Wharton or even with Chris Jones, where he's just gonna end up losing to those guys, and he's not gonna be able to hold up as much as he wants to. So it's just overall, it's just a little bit of up and down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of took the words right out of my mouth when you said like he just has more veteran savviness, which is funny because I think they're about the same age or have been in the NFL or at the NFL at the same time.
Yeah.
Like you can tell that Parham's just played more because like the things you're pointing out, like his hands and like the way he uses them to like get leverage advantage, especially in pass pro and help himself recover. Like you just don't see that from Meredith quite as much. So yeah. But again, two very similar players who knows? This could all end up being irrelevant. Who neither one of them might end up earning a starting job if Mumford has something to say about it in training camp. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess, like you said, our big takeaway is we got to pay attention to Thayer Mumford a bunch in training camp because he can at least bring some juice in the run game a little bit more than Meredith and Parham can.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's gonna be harder to move him. He is just bigger, so he could probably deal with those like the big defense tackles that he's gonna have to face. Right? I would be more scared about Thayer Mumford against Chris Jones though, because Chris Jones would just go right past him. I think sometimes that'd be a little bit nervous about that. But in the run game, he'd probably kind of show what Dylan Parham was showing a little bit. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. We're gonna be back Thursday. We're doing Thursday Night Live, I guess, with their final for the championship. Twitter already made its vote. We're gonna get some votes for SB Nation as well. So it's gonna be a big vote for who's the best team of all time for the Raiders. And then we're probably getting some other stuff here. More camp battles that we're gonna be thinking of. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we are out of here. Peace.